We've all heard the golden rule of economics, right? If you protect the environment, you absolutely kill factory productivity. We've been told this for decades. Well, grab a pen because it's time to cross that out. New data proves this is entirely wrong. The textbooks literally need a rewrite.
So, here is the million-dollar question. Does saving the environment always destroy economic growth? For years, economists have preached that strict green rules equal economic suicide. But today, we're giving that assumption a massive reality check. We are totally shattering that myth.
Picture this. On one side, you have textbook economics. It tells us that market incentives, things like carbon taxes, are the absolute perfect tool. But on the other side, you have the messy, chaotic reality of the developing world. When institutions are weak, taxes completely fail, bureaucrats get bypassed, rules are just ignored, that flawless standard theory, it totally falls apart in the real world. Environment drags down the economy? Absolutely wrong. Let's look at India's iron-fisted pollution experiment. The country was literally choking. Suffocating pollution was devastating public health, and those fancy free market tools were completely failing. So the government stepped in and did something incredibly aggressive. Back in the late 90s, the Indian Supreme Court finally had enough. They completely bypassed lenient local politicians and dropped a massive command and control hammer right onto 17 highly polluted cities. There was no asking nicely. They ordered huge polluters to clean up or shut down immediately.
Uncovering the truth in the data.
To figure out if this aggressive move actually worked, researchers had to isolate the data. Step 1, track thousands of factories over an 11-year period. Step 2, compare the cities that were forced to be clean against the cities just running business as usual. It is basically the ultimate academic showdown. And here comes our first big reality check. The absolute second those mandates hit, harmful air pollution, stuff like sulfur dioxide and fine particulate matter, just plummets. The strict rules actually worked. The air visibly and actively cleared up. So how exactly did they do it? Well, factories saw a massive 14.5% drop in coal consumption. They radically reduced their reliance on literally the dirtiest fuel available and genuinely cleaned up their entire operations. Okay, brace yourself for the ultimate data slap. Critics predicted mass bankruptcies. They said the economy would completely crash. But get this, when we look at the productivity levels, the regulated cities versus the unregulated cities are perfectly identical. No difference. Despite expensive, heavy-handed rules, productivity saw zero negative impact. The economy didn't bleed out, it just adapted. Targeted strikes replacing the one-size-fits-all approach. The government acted like a sniper here, not a shotgun. They mandated specific equipment for the absolute worst offenders. They forced toxic plants to relocate. They outright blocked new polluters from even opening. They went straight after the industrial big bad wolves and left the small businesses completely alone. Do hard mandates actually beat price incentives? Researchers ran the numbers to calculate the cost of getting this exact same environmental win, but using a traditional free market coal tax instead. The result? You'd need a crippling 15 to 30% tax on coal. Just think about a massive price hike like that. It would completely shock and paralyze the entire energy system. And here is why this matters so incredibly much. A blanket coal tax unfairly crushes tiny mom-and-pop businesses. It actively punishes the working class who simply cannot afford sudden price hikes. But hard rules? They bypass the little guy entirely. They force only the wealthiest, biggest polluters to actually pay up and clean up. The hidden flaws of a perfect policy. Now, this data is incredibly powerful, for sure, but it does have some blind spots. What about off-the-books shadow factories? This study only tracked registered players. And did the pollution simply migrate? Did these toxic factories just pack up their bags and move right outside the city limits to dodge the Supreme Court? These are really complex gaps that the data just couldn't fully close. Which leaves us with a really provocative final thought. If iron-fisted, command-and-control rules actually work better than free markets in developing nations, what other economic laws do we need to completely rewrite? If the textbooks were dead wrong about this, what else are they wrong about?